We have arguments about how the business should go.
Yeah.
We've historically disagreed.
Yes.
But all for the good. Like, we both love the baby.
Of course.
But we see the parenting differently. You have a business.
Yes, I do.
What's it called?
I am the co-owner of Brooklyn Tea, a beautiful tea room, tea shop, online retailer, and wholesaler of the finest teas and tea blends.
Oh, that's good. He's practiced. I am the creator of human beings that start retail businesses and wholesale of the finest teas and tea blends.
Oh, your son has a rival company?
Yes, you do, Junior. How you feeling about the business?
I'm good. It's an interesting time to be in the business.
We've had some hard times.
Yeah. So I import everything. So the federal government's policies have directly impacted my business.
Yes. Well, let's go further back.
Okay, let's go.
We have arguments about how the business should go.
Yeah.
We've historically disagreed.
Yes.
But all for the good. Like, we both love the baby.
Of course.
But we see the parenting differently.
Yeah. Like, you want him to go to Howard, I want to go to a good school. Like Hampton. The illustrious.
I'll wait for your apology.
Hampton University is better.
Okay. All right. So let's go back. We'll go back to the beginning.
Okay.
I say, man, you've worked on all my businesses. It's time for you to do what you want to do. What do you want to do? He says.
I want to start a tea company.
You didn't say that. You said maybe something like that. But you basically wanted to start a tea shop.
Yes, that's correct.
Which is different than tea company, because I think I eventually had to talk you into that, but that's all right.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. My idea was I was going to sit in the back of my tea shop and write books.
Like Mr. Hooper on Sesame Street.
Okay.
Yes.
You took it back.
Exactly. And so you went on tea searches, you got the product, and then you built a canister. You liked the canister, and then you made a logo, and then we had a review of the logo.
Yes.
And we had a total rebrand thanks to Lick Picks.
Shout out to Lick Picks.
Shout out to Jamie and Liquid Pixels. And that has been an enduring, very positive rebrand.
The branding was probably the most important thing we did.
Yes.
We've gotten into spaces because they like our branding before they liked our tea.
Right.
So having the good branding with the good product was instrumental to us getting in the doors of places we wouldn't have gotten to if we did some mom and pop Canva, style, doing a branding on our own.
Right, and that's a lesson in like doing what you can really do, because you went and got your tea sommelier certification.
Yes.
But you are not a designer. Right? No. So go get professionals to do what you do, and preferably people who you have great communication with, who are within your network.
And the good part about getting a designer is once you see a designer's work, you know you're not a designer. Right. Like when you see an actual professional designer do a thing, you're like, oh, I don't know how you did that or what. Yeah, but that's right.
I don't understand why I should have been trying this in the first place.
Right. Like I don't know why I have this emotion right now because of what I'm looking at, but you do because that's what you do,
right.
And I have it.
Yeah. So then we did like a year of pop-ups.
Yes.
Everything possible. And then enter first disagreement.
Okay.
I want to start a brick and mortar right away.
Yeah.
And I say, wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait, why? It's expensive.
I think you're wrong, though.
Oh,
Still.
say more.
We've had many situations. One, it brings some
gravitas,
thank you. Legitimacy, really, to the brand.
Right.
Because people ask, oh, do you have a physical location?
Right.
Because the thought is, did you invest in your dream?
Yeah, but I remember that time I went to Mighty Leaf and sat at their physical location.
Yeah.
No, I never did, because I never did.
But Mighty Leaf is already big.
They didn't start big. My point was, in the thinking at the time, that it was going to cost a lot of money for New York rent.
Yeah.
Even when we laid the map out, and we're like, okay, here's kind of where gentrification is going. Let's do hood adjacent or gentrification adjacent, and it was still going to be expensive. And I was anti at that time. So not anti forever.
Yeah. So here's what having a brick and mortar in Brooklyn did for us. It bought us cool. It bought us legitimacy, and it bought us buy-in, because we're not a tea shop anymore, right? We are a brand, and Brooklyn Tea location is our Disneyland.
FAO Schwartz.
It creates FAA Schwartz, right? It creates the buy-in, the feeling, that unspoken vibe, as people call it, right?
Yeah.
It's there, and then people love it there, and they go, you know what? Hey, I run, I work at this part of the NBA. We want you to come to the NBA
Right.
because we love your space so much.
Correct. Yes. So rules for this conversation.
Yeah.
You're going to have to be able to look back at historical things in timing.
Okay.
And you could still disagree with like, hey, this is what I wanted to do, and you were saying otherwise, but you're going to have to be able to reevaluate now in historical context.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So let's leave it at that.
Yeah.
Move forward. Nostrand Avenue.
Yes.
Just an interesting note about Nostrand Avenue.
Yeah.
We've all been on Nostrand Avenue before it's modern day Nostrand Avenue. It's kind of scary to even walk on Nostrand Avenue in a historical, emotional mindset.
That's a great place to get robbed back in the
You're
day.
gonna get robbed.
Back in the day, it was
Period.
nice. Yeah.
I remember when you were opening the shop, we came to the shop in the dead of winter, it was still under construction, and we walked past a bag of rats in someone's front yard having a full-on rat fight. And I was like, that is not good. I don't feel safe. I never felt safe on Nostrand Avenue. Now I feel less safe.
Yes, I get that.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Nostrand Avenue was a resounding success, right? I enjoyed it. Culturally, it was a success.
Kind of. Nostrand Avenue was a great lesson. It showed a few things. One, it showed that our brand could be anywhere, and even in a place where historically, it was a rat fest, having our Brooklyn tea there elevated the neighborhood just a little bit.
Yeah.
It gave people who didn't want to be in a rat fest a place to go. So a lot of problems with the places that are rat fests are only other like low quality to go only shops move there.
Yeah.
So the quality of the neighborhood never gets better because no one takes the time to invest in that neighborhood. The downside of that is, though, because of the neighborhood, people tended to fly past Brooklyn Tea and go straight to the train
Yeah.
because they're on a mission to get the hell out of there
Yeah.
as fast as possible.
Yeah.
So, we did learn some lessons there of, walking traffic. It doesn't mean people are paying attention to what they're seeing. Because we had great walking traffic, but if someone's beelining to the subway, they're not looking left or right. Mm-hmm. So, they only see your sign one Saturday after you've been open for 3 years.
Yeah. So Nostrand Avenue is now closed.
Yes.
But what I wanted to say about that, and then we'll go back in time, is I wish we had a way of really preserving the mural that was on that wall.
Yeah.
In that space. I mean, we have all the tech in the world, but with all the things going on, it just never raised to the level of like we should have protected this and made a print out of it.
If I was smart, I would have put white wallpaper up
And pulled it down.
and then so I could take it with me when I left. Luckily, the person who did it, her name is Katie Mers. She does that all over the place. She does whole buildings. She's still there. She loves our Zengaba Oolong and our Gyokoro. So she's still a fan of ours. We still follow her. And once we get a space I think is a little more permanent, or we know it's going to be permanent, we're going to have her come out and do it again.
Yeah.
Because she loves to do it, and she'll do it for us.
Right. Okay.
And her artwork is amazing.
So we opened Nostrand Avenue when?
December 2017.
And then 2 years later, what happened?
COVID.
Right. So in that 2 years, we said, we were having these conversations. It was like, hey, I personally want to have pretty much nothing to do with the non-scalable portions of the business.
Yes.
I'm only interested in online and ready to drink and other scalable things.
Yep.
But that lift was very hard to even get online going while just struggling to keep everything going on a day-to-day while learning the business while walking.
Yes.
Right? And then talk about the magic that happens once we get the specter and the scare of COVID. What happens to the online business and how?
Yeah. So the online business was like maybe 10 orders a month. One was my mom. No one's really ordering online, and we weren't focused on online. Online was like when someone loves our shop and they tell their friends about it in Milwaukee, and they was like, "Oh, I want to buy that too." That's what online was for.
Right.
We were laser focused on getting people into this shop they were paying for, and we're trying to pay off that SBA loan.
Right.
So it was all focused on this shop. But during COVID, we had to pivot that word, and we had to be more of social media personalities. We had to focus more on online. And then by doing that, we got some good press. A news organization came in and did a brief story about us. Shonda Rhimes saw that story, tweeted that she just bought so much tea from Brooklyn Tea. And the crazy part was we were already in the shop when she did that, but we were watching Netflix. So Jamil and I would still come to the shop every day, and we'd fill orders, we'd do stuff around the shop, because we still paying rent.
Paying the rent.
And we were sitting there watching a hip-hop documentary at the time. It was like an anthology of hip-hop from like, Cool Herc on. I think went to the mid-2000s. And all of a sudden we heard, ching, 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 And we're like, yo, what the hell is going on, right? So I thought we got hacked. And it turns out when Shonda Rhimes tweeted, her people just flooded us.
Yeah.
So it was like 100 orders in one day.
Right.
In a very short amount of time. But then we had a new problem, which was we had COVID staff, right? It was like 2 people at a time. And then it was the COVID economy. So supply chains were all screwed up.
Right.
So we now had 100 orders. We're like, oh, I don't know how to fulfill this.
Right.
So we had to change our entire basement, which is an employee lounge, to a factory.
Right. Which is a great problem to have. And thank you, Miss Rhimes, for your enduring support.
Always.
Because she's done it over and over again in key ways. And I remember that day because I had the Shopify app on my phone, you had it on your phone, but I always muted the cash register thing because it makes sense to you.
Yeah.
You need that endorphin rush because you sit in the shop. I'm doing other stuff.
Yeah.
Right? But you're like, hey, look at the orders. I look, and it's like, is that actually her? That's crazy.
I had to ask Jamila if that was spelled correctly, because every once in a while you'll have someone with a famous name spelled differently.
Yeah.
And it's not that's the person, right?
Yeah.
It's like
Michelle Jordan.
Right, right. You know, Cameron Diaz, but Cameron spelled different with a K.
Right.
It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I thought it was someone famous, but it was her, and yeah, she's bought multiple times. She talked about us in the Wall Street Journal, and we're happy that she did it, and then we were able to fulfill her order and everyone else's.
Right. Fast forwarding, so survived the pandemic.
Yep.
And got buoyed by black women and others, but a lot of black women support. Beyonce put us on the
Black Parade list.
Black Parade. The Harder They Fall called and said, hey, we're going to have a saloon down in the meatpacking.
Yep.
You're going to be the saloon.
Yep.
Like, so that all happened. Those were all great. Struggle the whole way at all times, never easy.
Yeah.
Now let's get to the next disagreement.
Okay.
You say, hey, man, we're going to go into big box.
Yep.
And we're going to go into Saks off 5th in all these stores all around the country.
Yep.
Right? And I am questioning the mark, but I don't know enough to say no.
Yeah.
So we go do it. Talk about what happened.
Didn't go well. So they did like a little test run for us. They bought a small amount. And then we asked, we tried to be good partners. Hey, was everything good? Did we do well? Was everything on time? Was it packaged correctly? We got all yeses. Then they did a bigger order. And when we got the order, we actually at the World Tea Expo in Vegas. And the order came in right before we were about to speak, right before we were about to be on stage. And I was like, so we're all excited about this thing. But it didn't turn out to be money. They never paid us. They hit us with a bunch of chargebacks because the packaging was not how they wanted it. But we already put the money in. So if you haven't done big box retail, there's a thing called chargebacks. If you don't do it exactly how their protocol is, they can charge you fees and fines, but also still sell your product. So I think it's a little bit of highway robbery that big brands do to small brands. But that's what happened to us. So we spent, I'm just gonna throw it out there, maybe like $35,000 in inventory, and we got back like 5.
Yeah.
Which is a hit that a small business cannot take, because that $35,000 could have went to more tins, more teas on the retail side with a higher profit margin, than selling to wholesale for a very thin margin.
Right. So now put that on the table. We are suffering the sacrifice of living with that hit, and then the conversation comes up about going into Target.
Yep.
And I'm in like shell shock trauma mode. Like, why would we ever go into big box again?
Yeah.
Why did you feel good about going into Target at that time?
We did an Accelerate program with Target. So they weren't unknown to us, right? At the time, they were very supportive. We even had like a mock line review. The Accelerator was kind of like MBA in big box retail, right? It's everything you need to know. We knew now not to get hit with chargebacks, or how not to get hit with chargebacks. That we knew what we needed from them, what they needed from us, and we thought it would be a really smooth transition. And we wanted to scale, like he was saying, and you can't scale without doing something like this.
That's right.
With big box retail, who can, if you do it well and do it right, they can order 1 million items from you. Whereas, how long would that take on the retail side?
What people have to know, and this is a term that most people won't know, which is sell through.
Yeah.
And how incredibly difficult it is to sell through someone else's retail outlet.
Yeah.
And so, though I agree that in order to scale, we've got to find other ways to sell the product. I think one of the keys of success, potential success for going into big box, was creating a product specifically for big box outlets, not stuff that's just in the shop. What do you think about that?
So the problem would be with that idea is you still gotta get it produced, and the scale is harder when you're only doing it for them. So if it's like, for example, we sell our cream Earl Grey and our Kyoto rolls in boxes at Target. We also sell it to everyone else who wants wholesale. So now our scale is everyone can get the same product from us. Therefore, our cost of creating it is cheaper.
Yeah.
And that's what you're trying to do. So the fewer things you can sell to more people is how you get that scale and that cost ratio down, because you want to get a million of one thing,
Right.
and sell it for some profit.
Yeah. In 2025, though, it makes it very difficult when we're a digital access everywhere company.
Yeah.
So now you're almost competing with yourself. It's like, hey, for online shoppers,
Yeah.
you could come to my website,
Yeah.
and I don't have to take the margin reduction that it takes to go into big box. But for the in-person retail, maybe
Nope.
there's
an
points.
assumption there. The assumption is they know where our website is, and they want to go there, or they want to go to a place where they're already going. So there's a less of a barrier to entry for new customers,
Right.
to a place they already go.
Right.
Whereas they have to find us, or we have to find them. They have to trust our website. They have to go through our website, or they can just knock it into their cart while they're walking down the aisle.
Right. Well, that's also challenging because if you think about the millions of square inches of product faces
Yeah.
inside a Target, I mean, it's a small percentage of cover space.
Yeah.
They've got to know to walk down that aisle to look at that part of the shelf.
Yep.
So it's still very difficult to sell through.
Yeah, super difficult, and that's where the branding helps, right? All those things help. Marketing helps. Digital marketing helps. Targeting those zip codes where you know your product's in those stores, so you can at least get some brand recognition. So when they do walk past your product, they're like,
Right.
"I've seen this somewhere
That's right.
before."
That's right.
They won't remember you, but they're like, "This looks familiar.
Yeah.
I'll do this one."
Yeah.
But also, you're in places that you probably wouldn't have marketed. Like we're in places in like Des Moines, Iowa, whatever,
Right.
Which we're not our target market. We never would have targeted them, but they still bought tea.
Right. Now, let's go to the next moderate disagreement.
Yep.
The world, or the United States at least, and many people in our community have an issue with going to Target.
Yep.
Right? Which is a weird space to be because
It
it's
is.
very hard for a brand. You work hard to get into that space.
Absolutely.
Right? And now you're in there, and then things out of your control create negative pressure on sending anybody to go support your product there.
Yeah.
I'm of the opinion, and have been of the opinion since the beginning, that we need to explain the difficulty of getting in there, how we forge forward to try to create space in this business for people who come behind us so we can demonstrate success, and when it doesn't go right, if it doesn't sell, how it could impact negatively any business that goes into big box in that way. Sellbacks, any type of penalties and things like that. So my suggestion was explain to the people, at least get us to the position where we can clear out. Don't leave us hanging. Don't leave us in there unbought, because it all ends up bad. And you've been hesitant about discussing that.
I am.
Say why.
Yeah. One is it's a charge issue, right? People have strong opinions about these things. I think that it's twofold, right? We didn't know that that press release was going to come out and the folks at Target were going to say what they're going to say. And when other folks came out, they were kind of, verbally attacked immediately. And I feel like I'm on the fence, right? I understand why people boycott things. I understand that businesses, large businesses, have to do what they have to do. I think we just kind of chalked it up as, I think people already know that by boycotting Target, that the black brands in there were being boycotted also.
Yeah.
I think they already knew that, but they're willing to do that or for what they thought was the larger picture.
You don't think it's not top of mind? Do you think there's actually any conscious thought about it? I don't think so at all. I think that most people are looking at the headline and staying away from the headline without understanding the subheadings.
So I guess the way I think is, even if they know, would it change their behavior? And I don't know if it would, because if you were already our customer,
I'm not saying walk into the store. I'm saying just go online.
what I'm saying is, if you were already our customer, and you already were buying our stuff at Target, right? Then you already would know if you wanted our product, to go to our website. So I don't have to tell you to do that if you already know you can. So the problem with the internet is that people who would create the backlash for us are the people who would never buy our tea anyway. And they would be the loud majority who would then cause us grief, loss of sales, makes us toxic, right? Because the loud majority who never would have bought our tea anyway are the people online that are, social media assassins.
My point in all this is to not say you're right or you're wrong, but to give you the ability to express what it is, why we disagree on these things.
Yeah.
And in all the things we've disagreed on, you and Jam have done an incredible job of being able to continue to persevere and grow and move forward.
Exactly.
So what's coming next is JFK, which is a wonderful thing. Terminal 4 in September, which is the Delta Terminal in JFK. There will be a branded Brooklyn Tea store.
Absolutely.
And then there are other things happening in partnership that put us in JFK. And what do you think you want to do after and beyond that?
After and beyond? Whoa. I think that more of the same. I think we want to have more Brooklyn Teas in more spaces. I think we want to continue figuring out how to scale. If not big box, then maybe the franchise route or something like that. I think it's hard for me to really think about the future because the world has changed so much in the last, let's call it 10 years, that I just don't know what the landscape's gonna be or what, I feel like back in the day, you could be like, you know what, I can plan this out. We're gonna have 100 stores in 50 cities, and we knew regardless of what was going on, that was a real possibility. I think the world's changing so fast that you have to adapt to everything, and it feels more like you're on the defensive, trying to learn how to punch off your back foot, but still while having these loose plans, what you want the future to look like.
Right. Let's go super basic.
Let's do it.
How many varietals of tea are in the shop right now?
In the shop, there are 150.
About how many are herbal? How many of them are?
About half and half. About 75 herbal, about 75 traditional tea.
What is the difference between the tea that I would buy at Brooklyn Tea and the tea I would buy from, let's say, the standards like Yogi Tea?
Yeah. Well, our tea is high quality. Our tea is organic whenever it's possible. If it's not organic, then it comes from a place where you don't need to be organic because they don't put pesticides in their stuff anyway, so there's no need to call it organic, right? We are tea nerds at heart, so when we're blending or sourcing or serving, we really care about the details of everything, and it's not just about a buck, it's about our community, it's about people saying that they didn't like tea, but now they love tea, about people saying, hey, I was on chemo and your tea helped me to, fix my nausea. We are a community-focused business, but we also make a profit selling tea. So we've learned to balance those things of not cutting corners for the sake of profit, but also our ego is invested in having a higher quality than everybody else.
And why should people drink tea?
One, it's delicious. You can stop there. But also, it's really good for you, right? It has antioxidants, polyphenols, has amino acid like L-theanine, which relaxes your mind. It gives you caffeine, which gives you a nice little boost, but not so much caffeine that you have some negative effects. And then, it's a drink that's around the world. Every culture in the world, pretty much, drinks tea in some way. Many have their own tea ceremonies. People have already understood the social, the health benefits, all the benefits of drinking tea. We Americans is a little slow to keep up.
There you go.
Boom.
BrooklynTea.com.
Yeah.
His name is Alfonso. He likes when people call him Ali, but we call him Tito.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Congratulations.
Black
and well
Futurist. Check out the podcast. It's amazing. Most of the time. Mo's my favorite person on there. He really carries the whole show. Shout out to Doughberry.
No, bye.